How would you like to make your first million today? We are joining our friend Sanjay, and I have the privilege to know him personally. So some of the few podcast guests that I know personally. And he's the founder of Innova Vascular and a great MedTech company that with innovation want to change or to make a big improvement in the health of people, not only United States, but around the world. So Sanjay, tell us, what are the 5 steps you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you for having me. And the very first thing that I'd suggest to anyone trying to venture on their own and trying to create an enterprise is think and know of your customer. Who is going to want to receive this product and service? And then think a bit deeper. What do they do in lieu of that product and service today? And the product or service that you intend to provide, how is that going to make it better for them? And have a very, very clear understanding of who the competitors are, what the market landscape is, what the need is, and how you are going to fulfill the unmet need. That's the number one important thing, that you need to be very, very clear on that. And second thing, then you need to feel passionate about what you want to do, meaning you need to love what you do. It's great to want to make money. Everybody does, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't um, start a business just thinking that, okay, this can make me loads of money. That's very nice, but think of the process. That am I going to enjoy the process of creating this business? If you love what that business entails or creating that business entails, then embark on it. And if you love what that entails, and the third thing that I'm going to add, which is that can you do it? What makes you, when I say you, that could be collectively, if you have a team, if you are a family that's starting a business, if you have partners that are starting collectively, do you have what it takes to provide this solution or service that you intend to provide with the superiority, with the differentiation that you intend to provide? And why do you have that? So if you have these three things, that you feel passionate about the path, passionate about doing it, you feel that you can do it collectively, you and or your team, and that there is a market out there, there is a need that's clear, that you understand it. When you have those three things, when those three things come together, then nothing will stop you from succeeding and achieving your mission, whether it's including making your first million, because first million is harder, remember, than making 10 or 100 after that.
So then, Sanjay, what do you think that from MedTech company founder, what do you think now in the era of AI, the MedTech industry will have, what is the impact of AI in the MedTech industry?
So AI is everywhere, as you know. It's already making lots of jobs easier, lots of things that and increasing the efficiency of human capital. That what took many more people can be done with computers, and things are getting better. Like it doesn't overnight happen that there is a perfect solution in AI, but people are beginning to use it. People are as they use it, the algorithms get better, and at some point you will begin to do a lot of things, a lot of jobs that people today it requires people to do, and more, and even things that takes many more people, and sometimes it's beyond the capacity of a human brain to do that AI can do. So we do expect overall healthcare, like any other field, to improve substantially with the help of AI. particularly, I mean, our business is making these physical tools that get used inside the human bodies. So it's not, I mean, those tools are going to remain mechanical for the foreseeable future, but it's the process of making those, process of developing them, process of commercializing them. That's where we are beginning to use AI.
Because Sanjay, in fact, tell us a little bit more about your product. The one of the reasons maybe that your product is 100%, we can say mechanical, is because when it comes to the problem that you solve, there is cannot be a room for mistake because the patient can die, right?
Yeah, so Harry, for my career, what I do is really interesting. I mean, last at least for me, and hopefully for your audience as well. For about 3 decades, I've been doing what's called interventional medical devices. These are cardiovascular, generally solving a what I call body plumbing problem. So I develop tooling for body plumbing, for fixing body plumbing problems. And about 3 decades ago, this field started to evolve. And what happens that at the groin, we stick a needle in an artery or vein, and body is full of a network of arteries and veins. So once you access an artery, you can go anywhere using those arteries and veins without poking through them. You can go anywhere. Once you are in, you can travel using those as highways or pathways. You can travel to people's hearts. You can travel to people's brains, legs, liver, kidney, lungs, any organ, and repair whatever plumbing problem or cardiovascular problem that exists. So every 3 to 5 years, I've been fortunate to have taken one part of the body and developed and or commercialized a set of tools for fixing a problem there, and then moved on to another part of the body. And this is a regulated industry, meaning that you have to do clinical trials, you have to follow certain processes to get them qualified, verified, validated. So it takes about 3 to 5 years, including doing clinical trials. And then once the product's approved and or after early commercial, we move on to doing similar thing for a different part. So example, for these people know stents today, stents for heart, everybody knows because everybody knows somebody who has had a stent. But I worked on coronary stents in 2002, 25 years ago almost, and before anybody knew them. And then I worked on replacing and repairing heart valves. So there's valves inside the heart. Heart has 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. And in between those and going in and out of them, there's valves that open or close. So those valves, with aging and lifestyle and other factors, genetics included, those valves go bad so now we can repair or replace without having to cut the heart open. In a beating heart, we can go from the groin and replace with an artificial valve. Now, why groin, you would ask? That's because groin is one place, one of the maybe 3 or 4 places in the body where big arteries and veins become superficial. And superficial in medical language means close to the skin. So you can poke without having to cut it down. And then you can grow the hole, and then you can snake these catheter polymer tubular objects called catheters that are designed specifically for a given organ, typically. You can snake them through, take them to the organ under image guidance. You'd say, how would doctors do that? While doing that, they're also taking a picture of your arteries and veins by shooting a little contrast medium and shooting x-rays when patient is lying in what's called the angiographic suite or fluoroscopy. So, and I can tell you more about our specific devices and tools as we go, and how this innovation has changed medical economics from changing open surgeries to these interventional procedures. So open heart surgeries, for example, there used to be many more open heart surgeries 30 years ago, and today there are far fewer open heart surgeries because people can just go and put a stent this way. People can change the valves. People can prevent heart failure using this way. People can change electrophysiology of the body or fix electrical rhythm problems in the heart using this way. So it's been amazing. People can remove blood clots from brain that I will talk about in a moment, but I'll pause here for
Wow.
now.
Wow. Yeah. My uncle in Cuba used to do this catheterism only for on hearts for kids only it's from until 2 years old and below. So it was very specific. And he over there was in Cuba, so a lot of time he was overloaded with work. And And I asked him once, I said, Uncle, the sometime a kid die. He say, yes, Harry, this is, and the day that this happened, you arrive to your house destroyed, right? And it's a very difficult job, and nobody cares. He's overload. I mean, I'm saying in Cuba, it's overload with work, so spending like 12, 14, sometimes 12 hours inside the thing. The technology is old, it's obsolete. It's no high-end technology like you have, so it has more risk, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, uh, time to time, and the kids are very small, and it called catheterism. They go exactly to the heart and to very small kids. So that's that's what my uncle did all his life, and also he teach at the university in Cuba. So
Wonderful.
my question to you is, after so many years of experience, I think that um, trying to avoid people to die, it keeps you motivated to get better and better. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of cardiovascular diseases are top killer in the developed world, and a number of these solutions that we work on, they are saving lives and preventing deaths. So yes, it does contribute towards longevity, which is important or has become a very important frontier lately. But it certainly saves lives, yes, from
So
very,
now,
very
Sanjay, you said that
devastating
you work in,
diseases.
yeah, you work in different organs. So you have work. Can you mention, because I'm taking the example of
Mhm.
my uncle, for example. My uncle only did this one thing all his life. He only did the heart from 0 to 2 years old, and all his life, only the catheterings of the heart to this small kid is what he did all his life, right?
Yeah.
So, but you take it to the next level, you have doing different organs, not only work on that, but also to develop the devices approved, right? That can actually can be commercialized to other uh, professionals to use it and to help the people. So tell us about your journey, okay? Uh, how this journey started, and which organ you started. I think you said you started by the heart, and then you move on to a different. So can you share your journey, the story,
Yeah,
your
yeah. So
story?
yeah, yeah, sure. I can talk about. I think your question had two questions. One is about the various devices, medical devices that I've developed for treating various diseases. I can talk about that. And second one is my own career journey. You've talked about it. So maybe we can start with the medical devices. Heart and lung are two very, very different, very, very important parts of the body. And I have spent a considerable amount of time in solving problems through my medical devices in those organs. So acute ischemic stroke, or what's known as stroke. Stroke is a disease of brain actually. So what happens is a piece of clot, travels from somewhere and through arteries that bring oxygenated blood in the brain. That piece of clot ends up in the brain, and when it ends up getting blocked in a location in the brain, then brain doesn't receive oxygenated blood, and the whole body to survive, body to stay, uh, continue to perform what it does, it needs to continue to receive oxygenated blood. And that's what heart and lungs do together. Lungs oxygenate and heart pumps that blood, and through a network of arteries, that blood gets pushed everywhere in the heart. So when a piece of clot blocks the artery in the brain, then part of the brain cannot receive that oxygenated oxygen essentially, or oxygenated blood. So that part of the brain stops to function. And generally, and when that happens, that's called stroke. Now, what happens if it's one entire part of the brain, one half of the brain, then the entire half of the body becomes paralyzed. You've seen people, I imagine, that have a stroke and got paralyzed. Or people have what's called speech slur, they have vision impairment, or they can't move their arm. So first, maybe I'll take this opportunity to acquaint your audience on how to recognize that they are having a stroke. Anytime you feel or you suspect that you are having a stroke, remember this FAST campaign. FAST means facial drooping. you or your loved one that's around you. If they are having a facial drooping, meaning facial is becoming like oblong or oblique like this, then that's one sign. Then ask them to lift their arm. They can't lift their arm, then that's the FA. And speech slur, that they can't speak properly when they're having a stroke. And then T stands for time to call, in the US what we say 911, which is the emergency call, or in whichever country people are listening. So that FAST campaign, remember that. So when stroke happens, up until 20 years ago, the standard of care was that once you got a stroke, I mean, where I grew up, people think, oh, but they're going to spend the rest of their life as in paralysis or die or something like that. But the standard, even in the US, was about a third of the patients got better, a third stayed the same, and third got worse. That's there was a drug that Genentech has called TPA, so the doctors gave that medicine, and that was the result of it. Then came medical devices. People said if it's a physical problem, like if there is a clot that's trapped inside the artery in the brain, can we remove that? Now, if you do open surgery of the brain, that's very complex, that has its own morbidity and mortality and risks and all that. So we tried to develop our methods. So from groin, can we go and pull and suck out this clot? And people tried other methods as well, radio frequency, plasma, laser, and all kinds of tools. What worked ultimately is this mechanical removal, what's called aspiration and retrieval. And now it's very, I'll talk about now what the results are, much better. But we were third product. So I was R&D leader for at a company that created a stroke product. We were third product to market. But we showed that this result that I talked about, a third getting better, third getting worse, and third staying the same, that we showed that two-thirds got neurologically better. We opened the vessels 90 to 95% of the time by pulling or sucking. We created a stent-like product that went from groin, it traveled all the way to brain under image guidance that neurointerventionalists could do, and removed the blood clots. 95% of the time we opened the vessels, and two-thirds of the time people got better. There was a significant leap and recognition of this type of interventional therapies for treating what's called acute ischemic stroke, or known as stroke. American Stroke Association. So I worked on it from 2007 to 2011. The American Stroke Association announced in 2014 that the standard of care for removal of blood clots for large vessels should be using these clot retrievers and aspiration catheters. There's a big recognition to our type of therapies. And since then, there was many companies around the world, not just in the US, that have created these types of products, clot retrievers and/or aspiration catheters, and innovation continues. And field has gotten even better now. It's even more than two-thirds. It's even 80 to 85% patients getting better in some clinical trials. So that's the type of difference that these medical devices are making. Now, think of it this way, that in the US alone, there is 780,000 strokes each year. And worldwide, about 15 million patients. And today, since these therapies were developed now maybe 15 years ago, and around the world, they are continuing to get better, first of all, but then also around the world, they are continuing to be used more and more because it takes trained doctors. It takes trained neurointerventionalists, which are becoming available into more and more of the world. And as a result, so first it's about creating the therapy, then about creating more and more trained doctors that can use these therapies and saving the lives and saving the quality, improving the quality of life. But it's a significant sort of contribution to the world to be able to have treatments for acute ischemic stroke. And likewise, in the brain itself, since you talked to me about talking about journey, we also worked on some brain aneurysm products. There is few different types of products that treat brain aneurysms without having to cut open. There is maybe about a third of the aneurysms in the brain are still treated open surgically, where people cut their skull open and then do the surgery. They tend to have more complexities, more what's called mortality and morbidity. But in some cases, that's justified, maybe because intervention is not available or other reasons. But for the most part, the world is switching to these interventional therapies where from the groin, we can go and put these metallic platinum coils, actually, that we fill up in the aneurysm. Aneurysm is a little side pocket that forms on the side of a blood vessel or artery. and it can rupture. That's the downside of it. It can rupture, it can push on certain organs, and it can create problems and interfere in the function of certain organs too. And brain is like a central command of the body. So brain, whatever, brain controls everything. So whichever part of the brain doesn't work, if that was controlling speech or vision or arm or movement or anything, then that function gets interfered. So by creating a solution to these, interventional solutions have become very standard now and very safe. The other part of the journey of that, when we create these solutions, it takes some time for the solutions to devices that we develop. Doctors start to use it, and doctors learn how to use them correctly. Doctors learn which patients to use them. Device makers like us learn how to make the product better. So it's a process that takes 5-10 years, sometimes even 15, but to get to a point that anyone around the world can use and more people can use. And stroke treatment today is definitely at that point that it's become extremely simple, it's become extremely efficacious, and people around the world use it today. So I'll pause there again if you want to
Mm.
say anything else, but then I can continue in talking about some other medical devices.
Yes, Sanjay, I would like to know about market size and the for the entrepreneurial and the business opportunity, right? So how many devices do you already have in your company? How the process work? What are the uh, B2B opportunities that you have available? And also, if your company at the moment is raising finance, if you can also expand a little bit more about this.
Yeah. So so I talked about my past product. Innova Vascular is founded to remove blood clot in a minimally invasive manner also, but from different parts of the body. So there's blood clots that form in legs or other deep veins inside the body. They are called DVT, or deep vein thrombosis. Those blood clots can travel from veins into lungs, and that causes a condition called pulmonary embolism, where a patient can't breathe and they have chest pain, symptoms similar to that of a heart attack. So after my journey, after my stroke product, then I embarked on Innova Vascular about 5 years ago. In 2021, we started working on this product. And these products now are FDA approved. We have a clot puller and a sucker, aspiration catheter, and a clot retriever that are cleared by the US FDA, that are being used in hospitals in the US as well as outside the US now. And again, saving these near-death experiences, because when patients get pulmonary embolism, that's a very high mortality rate type of condition, because it causes heart failure. So let me talk a little bit about the physiology. So far in the context of brain, I was talking about arteries that deoxygenated blood, because oxygen runs the organ, and deoxygenated blood has to be brought back to the heart. And those vessels that are bringing it back, it's like a tree structure in the body. Those are called veins. So all veins drain into the right heart. All arteries emanate from the left heart, and lungs, right from right heart, blood gets pushed into lungs for oxygenation, and lungs then push the blood back into the right heart, into the left heart, where it gets pushed into the body, rest of the body. So the reason I'm saying all of that these veins tend to be and slow flow vessels as compared to artery. So they are more prone to clot formation, or clot, that's called thrombus in medical language. So the thrombus people that are bedridden after a orthopedic surgery for a long time, bad pregnancy, they're bedridden, some genetic factors, some dietary and lifestyle factors, etc. All that contributes to it. So it's about 1 million patients in the US alone each year that get DVT. More than half of these will convert into PEs, pulmonary embolism. Our product that sells
Oh,
for
wow.
about $10,000 in the US, and we'll end up using the markets today is about maybe 50,000 units like that, with us and our competitors, that are being used in pulmonary embolism, and maybe about 100,000 in deep vein thrombosis. But this market will grow double for pulmonary embolism in next 3 to 5 years, and same thing for DVT as well. It will
Why? So how big is the market now,
market size.
what market size, and why could be a possibility that it grows?
Yeah, so the medical devices, because these are new inventions, these devices didn't exist up until nearly five to 6 years ago. There were no products like that for treating. So as we come up with these new solutions, we work with doctors to create these solutions, and then doctors teach other doctors on how to use them. So more doctors need to be created. So it's a market development. Disease is there. Disease, like I said, there's 1 million people that are getting it in the US alone, and about 12 million around the world for these what's called VTE, venous thromboembolism. But only, let's say, of the order of 100,000 or so between PE and DVT, 150,000 that are being treated. So more will be treated. That's a very small portion of penetration. More will be treated when more doctors get trained and more data and more evidence gets generated, and more device companies come into picture. Currently, it's just a few companies that have created the product. Few more will come. So market size in terms of revenue for just for the venous thromboembolism today, it's about $1.5 billion. It will be over $7 billion of market worldwide in next 10 years. So it will
Oh,
quadruple,
wow.
more than quadruple. Yeah, exactly. And then
And why
again,
is that?
these are
What and why is
high
that?
growth areas. Yeah.
Uh,
High growth areas. Diseases there, solutions are not there. So we create new
I
solutions.
understand. I
You
understand
train
now.
doctors. You train
I
doctors.
understand.
The data, you do more clinical studies. So data
Hmm.
gets out. More doctors believe in it. And then more and
I
more doctors
understand.
get trained. More device companies come up that create product, that take
Hmm.
product around the
Hmm.
world. Patients
Hmm.
are plenty of patients. And that's just this one subset that I'm talking about, venous thromboembolism. Stroke by
Hmm.
itself is several billion dollars of business today. And
Wow.
many of the
Wow.
heart diseases are several tens of billions of dollars of business, because medical devices people don't understand. People know pharma, people know biotech. The general investor doesn't seem to understand medical devices are really tools, but these tools
Hmm.
are changing the world by bringing these what's called minimally invasive devices or
Exactly.
minimally
It's a
invasive
better
tools.
solution. Better solution for the problem that it is, and probably maybe more cost effective. And if it's not, it brings less risk to the patient, right?
In exactly,
You have to
including
be
so
very precise. Those devices are, you see, because I know a little bit because my uncle used to do this. It's a very, we're talking about very millimetric uh, devices. They have to be very accurate. You really need to know what you're doing. So Sanjay, do you have any patent that you file on the products, or you cannot patent a product like this?
So Innova Vascular has three issued for almost four patents issued now, and many more filed. That's this company alone.
Wow,
And then in my
wow.
prior work that I did with another company that I had founded or co-founded, that company created a liquid embolic product that was a clot former that we sold to a Boston-based company called Certex. A larger company acquired us because they have other products to
Wow,
sell, so they can market it broader to a broader audience. So
wow.
they have that company has its patents, and then my prior work that I talked about in
Mm.
stroke and brain coils and other parts of the body, stents for the body, etc. We have many other patents as well that I'm an
Sanjay,
inventor on.
if you already exit your one company, you should be in the beach drinking mojito and having fun. So
Yeah,
why you come back to open another company, another brand, and go back to, to be an entrepreneur, how intense it is, even to exit one company. Most of the entrepreneurs in the world don't even achieve that, and you already done it. So why you didn't took all this money and go to the beach and drink some mojito in
yeah,
Sunny Isle, and you decided, no, you know what? I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna keep innovating. I'm gonna keep saving lives. So
yeah.
why you doing this?
Yeah. No, it's a great question. It's just simple answer. It's because it's more fun. It's more fun than drinking mojito every day. We can still drink mojito on the beach every now and then, but this is more fun because it keeps the intellectual engagement. It keeps meeting interesting people like you and others that I meet in my day-to-day work. Work with the team
Thank you.
that's remarkable as well that helped me do my work here. So I think intellectual stimulation is far more important in my
At the
life. I mean, there are
mission.
different people have different, and it's a mission-driven life. Otherwise, that keeps the job interesting. So most people I know that do this, they get hooked onto it. They do it once, they you want to keep doing it over and over. And in between, yeah, you take breaks and take a little time off here and there. So that's always good to recharge. But but yeah, so simple
Back to
answer that
business.
to me
Simple
this is
answer.
this is more fun. This is more fun than sitting on the beach and drinking mojito every day. And again, yes, every now and then that seems fun too, but then you can do it once in a while and then come back to work.
So, what is your message for tech entrepreneurs out there that that they are stuck? They don't have the experience that you have. But well, when you started from zero, also you didn't have experience. So, think back when you started. So, what message do you have for the tech um, startup founders that they think there's a lot to do, that they are stuck, and like we have the statistic, like 80% of startups, they're gonna fail in the first 2 years, and even solo entrepreneurs in the United States, most of them don't make even more than 100,000 a year. So maybe better to have a good job, right? But sometimes. So what is your message for young entrepreneurs trying to succeed in business?
Yeah. So I think listen to yourself, listen to your gut, believe in yourself first. Do what you think you can do, and don't start a company just because I mean, don't
Just
start
because you
it for
want to
one
make
reason.
money,
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
because.
exactly. I'm trying to say it politely and nicely that I wouldn't chase money. I would chase passion. What is it that you like to do? Find things that you like to do, find things that you can do, and then ultimately that has to fulfill some need for the mankind, some need for the world, some need for some niche, some subset of the market. So if you look at these three things that I'm talking about, that I can do this, I like to do this, maybe in that reverse order. I like to do this, I can do this, and there is a need for it. If you do these three things, you wouldn't go wrong. You wouldn't go wrong. So the people, in my opinion, that are going wrong, yes, the statistics, maybe 80%, 90% tech entrepreneurs have but that's because they are not looking at all three things. They're looking at one or the other. Okay, I'm going to do this because I like to do this. I like to do this. That's great. But is there a need for it? Somebody want this, somebody want this. Is the world ready for it? So sometimes people start technologies ahead of their times and they fail too. Sometimes people start too late and then it's like the market saturated. There's other people that have similar things or better things, and plenty of other people that have similar things and better things. So you need to have your own angle. So I think if people did those three things right, in my opinion, every one of them will succeed.
Sanjay, someone is in love with this conversation and they want to know more about it, or maybe they are in contact with some hospital that need your devices. How people can find you? How this process work? If somebody
It's
want
a
to
regular.
invest in your company, somebody want to invest in your company and want to know more, how people can find you?
Yeah, those are two different things. So one you're saying investor, one you're saying distributor or potential distributor. So let me answer the second one first. For potential distributors, I do get inquiries from around the world. It's a regulated industry, so each country has their own process, Ministry of Health or equivalent, that needs to approve before you can sell a medical device in that country or before you can import medical device for using in the hospital. And generally distributors that do this, and they know the process and they have access to the hospitals and access to the healthcare system where they can approve. So reach out to us on LinkedIn. LinkedIn might be the best place if anyone's interested in distributing our product around the world. Our products are used by interventionalists, so interventional
Sanjay,
cardiologists.
can you mention please how they can find you in LinkedIn? Because some people might be listening in the car or in the gym.
So I think it's Sanjay Shrivastava. Let me look at my LinkedIn. Sanjay Shrivastava, PhD. If you search that, then
Mm-hmm.
that should show up. That's Sanjay Shrivastava Innova Vascular. You can search as well. So that's the spelling of my name, my first name, my last name, and then PhD. That should get you there. First name, last name, and company name. That's Innova Vascular. INNOVA Vascular. That's probably the best way. My company's website, you can look at that at www.innovavascular.com, and there's an email access there. It's info@innovavascular.com. That's another way to reach me as well. So that's the way for potential distributors. Potential investors, those inquiries also I get both from the healthcare community, from the physician community, that hey, I like your product and I want to invest in you as well. And same thing, I'd say that feel free to reach out to me and we can look at it on a case by case basis. My
Finally,
direct email
Sanjay,
my
uh,
direct email is ss@innovavascular.com, INNOVAVASCULAR.com.
Sanjay, and for the investor, what would be the projection of the company in terms of how much you're projecting in penetrating the market and in revenue for the next couple of years, so
It's
the investor
it's
can have an idea, how much they can
yeah.
invest and how they can get the return of the investment
Yeah.
in basing what in the track record that already is in place.
Yeah, yeah. So it's these are basically our type of industries, our type of companies are innovation-driven companies where valuation is done based on future revenue potential. And like I said, the market is going to be $7 billion, and any acquirers, the future of our type of companies, we don't stay, even though we build it to last, we don't stay standalone forever. Larger companies, larger medical device companies that have access, broader access to market because they have multiple therapies like us. They have product for heart valves, product for stents, products for brain, product for legs, product for, so those companies can acquire because they sell multiple products into the same specialty. So they have bigger sales presence. They may have 300 sales reps in the US alone that sell peripheral vascular. And the way they value that once we demonstrate to them enough that we have done the clinical trial, data looks good, our product is approved by the FDA, our product has been used by doctors, our product has to generate some revenue, starting revenue, maybe with the help of 10 reps, maybe 20 reps, and say, okay, I have 300 sales reps, so I'm going to multiply this to get to a $500 million revenue, and then in next 2 3 years or X, and then they do valuations. I can tell you that the comparable companies have exited for $300 million minimum. So there is plenty of
Wow,
exit potential, and multiplier potential for potential
for the
investors
investors.
that come in at this point. And those conversations I prefer to have more on a private basis with potential investors rather than sharing on a public domain.
Excellent, Sanjay. Thank you so much for the broadcast and for all of you following the podcast. See you in our next broadcast. How brave entrepreneur like Sanjay break that wall and achieve the first big. Bye for now.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.